Grammar is the structural foundation of our ability to express ourselves. The more we are aware of how it works, the more we can monitor the meaning and effectiveness of the way we and others use language. Ladies and gentlemen, good day. I am Mybz from Davao Winchester Colleges Incorporated. At this time, we are going to discuss a very important lesson when it comes to grammar. But before that, let me present first our objectives. First one, define and elaborate modifier. Second one, identify the modifiers in the given sentences and construct sentences that modifies the given word. I know that in the flow of my discussion, there's something words there that are confusing, or maybe you don't know what's the meaning of this, or you forgot the meaning of it. Now, let's unlock those difficult words. Are you ready? Here we go. First word is modifier. What do you think modifier is? Very good. Modifier is a word, phrase, or clause which modifies other words in a sentence. Second word is adjective. What do you think adjective means? Very good. Adjective is a word or phrase naming an attribute added to or grammatically related to a noun to modify or describe it. Last word we have adverb. What do you think adverb is? Very good. Adverb is a word or phrase that modifies or qualifies an adjective, verb, or other adverb, or a word group expressing a relation of place, time, circumstances, manner, cause, and degree, and etc. This time, I want you to watch a video clip which is related to the topic that we're going to discuss today. Are you ready? Make sure you listen and watch it well. Here we go!
In grammar, a modifier is an optional element in phrase structure or clause structure. A modifier is so called because it is sent to modify, change the meaning of another element in the structure on which it is dependent. Typically, the modifier can be removed without affecting the grammar of the sentence. For example, in the English sentence "This is a red ball," the adjective red is a modifier, modifying the noun ball. Removal of the modifier would leave "this as a ball," which is grammatically correct and equivalent in structure to the original sentence. Other terms used with a similar meaning are qualifier. The word qualify may be used in the same way as modify in this context, attribute, and adjunct. These concepts are often distinguished from complements and arguments, which may also be considered dependent on another element, but are considered an indispensable part of the structure. For example, "In his face became red," the word red might be called a complement or argument of became, rather than a modifier or adjunct, since it cannot be omitted from the sentence.
Since you already have something ideas about our topic, now let's have an activity. Are you ready? Let's go! Identify the qualifiers modify the word detective. Again, identify the qualifiers modify the word detective. First sentence is, Margie Gabito is a brilliant detective. What do you think word that modified the word detective? Again? Very good! The word that modified the word detective is brilliant. Why? Because the adjective brilliant modifies the predicate noun which is detective. Very good! Second sentence is, the detective with the wax mustache solved the most baffling cases. What do you think phrase that modified the word detective? Again? Very good! The phrase or word that modifies the word detective is with a wax mustache. Why? Because the noun a detective is modified by the prepositional phrase with the wax mustache. Last one, we have Jeffrey Asho is a detective who has come to England as a war refugee. What do you think phrase that modify the word detective? Wow, very good! The phrase that modify the word detective is who has come to England as a war refugee. Why? Because a detective is modified by a relative clause which is who has come to England as a war or refugee. Very good, class. Now, how was your experience in identifying modifier? What? That's great! What do you think modifier means? Good idea! When are we going to apply the modifier? Fantastic! Now, let's talk about it. A modifier is a word or phrase that adds information about another word or phrase. Again, a modifier is a word or phrase that adds information about another word or phrase. Do you want an example? Okay, for example, I have a car. Is there any modifier there? Very good, there's no modifier. How about this? I have a red car. What do you think the modifier there is? Very good. The modifier is red. Because modifier red is modifying noun which is car. Very good, class. Do you want another example? Okay, another example. Mybz run. What do you think modifier is? Very good, there's no modifier. How about this? Mybz run fast. Very good. Modifier is fast, modifying the verb run. Please be reminded, class, that adjective and adverb are both modifiers. Adjective modify the noun and pronoun. Again, adjective and adverbs are both modifiers. And adjective modify noun and pronoun. Do you want an example? Okay, let's have an example. She is beautiful. What do you think the adjective and pronoun there? Very good, class. The adjective is beautiful, modifying the pronoun she. Very good, class. Keep in mind too that adjectives that modify nouns are used after determiner and before the noun. Understood? Again, adjectives that modify nouns are used after a determiner and before the noun. Do you want an example? Okay, let's have an example. The king married a charming princess. What do you think the adjective there or the modifier? And which is the determiner and noun? Very good! The adjective or modifier is charming. And the determiner is a. And noun is, of course, princess. Another thing is to remember that adverbs modify verbs. Adjective and other adverbs. And adverbs that modify adjectives or adverbs are used immediately in front of the word they modify. You want an example? Okay, let's have an example. The nurse very gently put the baby in the cradle. Again, the nurse very gently put the baby in the cradle. What do you think the adverb there? The adverb is very, and in front of the adverb is gently. Understood, class? Very good. Oops, we are not done yet. Now let's see if you really learned this topic. For the application, you have to construct 5 sentences that modify the word teacher. Are you ready, class? Your timer starts now. Now, I know that you constructed 5 sentences that modify the word teacher. Am I right? Very good, class. At this moment, let's assess your learning about our discussion, which is modifier. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number 1. Jumping out of his seat, Mybz shouted with surprise. What word or phrase describes Mybz? Letter A, jumping out of his seat. Letter B, with surprise. Letter C, shouted. Letter D, out. What do you think word phrase to describe Mybz? Very good, that is letter A, which is jumping out of his seat. And now let's have number 2. We joined the crowd in cheering with enthusiasm for the winner. What word or phrase describes cheering? Letter A, we. Letter B, with enthusiasm. Letter C, joined. And letter D, for the winner. What do you think word or phrase describes cheering? Very good, letter B, with enthusiasm. Now let's have number 3. What is modifier? Okay, we discussed this already. What do you think modifier means? Letter A, very confusing phrase. Letter B, grammatical mistake. Letter C, a word, phrase, or clause that adds extra information about another part of the sentence. Letter D, a misleading sentence. What do you think there? Very good, that is letter C, a word, phrase, or clause that adds extra information about another part of the sentence. Very good, class. Okay, let's have another one. Number 4. The old shoe was full of mud. Which word is a modifier? Letter A, shoe. Letter B, old. Letter C, was. Letter D, of. What do you think word is a modifier? Very good, that is letter B, which is old. Let's have another one. The final sentence or question. His costume, which was quite original, was just a cardboard box. Which word is modifier? Letter A, costume. Letter B, cardboard. Letter C, large. And letter D, original. What do you think the word is being modified? Wow, very good! That is letter A, costume. Thank you so much for your cooperation, class. But before we end this discussion, I want you to research the 2 types of modifier and its meaning. Serve as your agreement. Okay, class? Understood? Very good. Once again, this is Sir Mybz saying that intelligence is more important than strength. That is why Earth is ruled by men and not by animals. Keep safe and God bless everyone. Bye-bye!